Hello and welcome to the Cinesnobs here on Blaze Radio and BlazeRadioOnline.com. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host Ryan Brown, and today we're joined by none other than Keone Young. How are you doing today, my friend?
None other. There's no other Keone Youngs.
That I know of.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. So just a couple quick questions, and you'll be able to get on to your Game On Expo. So we know that there was a bunch of roles that you've done. What are some of the couple that you can remember off the top of your head?
What are you talking about? I've done some. Pick a decade. Okay, like.
Let's go early 2000s.
Let's go Star Wars.
Star Wars, okay.
Commander Sato. I was in the Rebels, Star Wars Rebels. I was Commander Sato, and there I was one of the first Asian Americans or Asians to be in the pantheon of Star Wars. I pre everybody else basically. Then we go to Star Trek. Okay, of course I also did Visions, which was a anime from Japan, a series of anime that George Lucas got from Japan to do, and I dubbed the English version. And then we go to Star Trek, which was Deep Space Nine. I played Buck Bokai, a baseball player from the future, which was a legendary, an iconic character. That was, and it was one of my favorite episodes of Deep Space Nine. Then I go way back to the 80s where I'm Storm Shadow and G.I. Joe. And then I'm here in the 2000s with Avatar. I was Jeong Jeong in Avatar. I don't know if you remember. He had several episodes. He taught Aang how to do the fire. How can I teach you if you do not listen, Aang?
That's honestly amazing. Weren't you also in Ultraman Rising as well?
Oh, yes, that. Yeah. I was the villain in that piece. I thought I was very good. And it was one of the most gratifying because it was the first time Ultraman, if you know the series, usually it's recorded in Japan and it comes to America in English. But this is the first time it was an American production done by Netflix to Japan, and they had to dub it into Japanese. So it's kind of interesting, isn't it?
That is actually very interesting. So how did you actually start off on your career way back when?
Oh, well, in order to be an actor, people think, oh, it's easy. I'll do a TV series, make a lot of money, and then forever. But that's not the way it is. You had to be able to do, in my days, everything. You had to be able to do, if you didn't do movies, you did TV. If you didn't do TV, you did commercials. If you didn't do commercials, you did cartoons. And so on and so on and so on. And now in streaming. So you had to be really, really craft oriented. You had to really excel in all the sciences. So like I studied opera in order to learn language and rhythm and music. I studied languages. And so I was called on by these people who say, oh, we're doing a kung fu thing from Hong Kong, but we got to dub it in English. We got to get guys to sound like they can say the Chinese words. Because before they would do stereotype Chinese, and then they would have guys in Hong Kong who could speak English, and those guys usually spoke with the British accent because Hong Kong was a British protectorate. So they were all talking with a Cockney accent, and you'd see that with Chinese characters with British accents, and people would go, I don't believe that. So they hired guys like me who could pronounce the Chinese words. Right. And also this is funny, because Bruce Lee couldn't say some words in English. He sounded really weird. There was a character named Mr. Brathwaite in Enter the Dragon. And so Bruce would say, have some tea, Mr. Brathwaite. And then people would go, huh? So we had to go in and I had redub Bruce's voice. Yeah. So I started that way, doing a lot of kung fu movies. And one of the big jobs I had was in Conan the Barbarian, where Arnold Schwarzenegger hired all of his buddies to play warriors, fight in the battles. And when you saw them on screen, they looked really good, but they developed every muscle on their body except their voices. So they called me in to revoice and remake them a man. They were talking like that, because they didn't develop, they couldn't talk. They had great muscles, but their vocal cords were pathetic. So I had to go in and say, let's go, Conan.
That's amazing. And Well, we would love to hear as many as we can. So, what was one of the bigger challenges that you faced going into this industry?
Rejection.
I mean, fair enough.
I mean, you expect to be rejected. If you get 1 out of 10 auditions, you're doing good, real good. Can you imagine if you had 10 girls and you asked them to dance and 9 of them said no?
It'd be painful, yeah.
Painful, right?
Yes.
But there's always that one who will say, okay, we can dance. And so, like, you had to be that strong because most guys can't fade 2, 3 rejections. And that's the thing about this industry. You go, wow, I'm wonderful. I'm great. People tell me I'm good. I'm good. But no, they don't want you. They do not want you, So, I mean, you have to be, that's the one thing you have to be resilient. And so, therefore, you have to have all these excellent craft abilities, speak different languages, speak rhythmically. Look at guys like Fred Tatasciore and D. Bradley Baker. They make sounds that you never heard of before, like alien sounds. They work all the time, because they're so good at it. So I had to learn how to function then. And I'm kind of like the guy that does all the Asian guys, because they can't do Asian guys like Asian guys. I had to learn not only Japanese, Chinese, but I had to learn the several different dialects of Chinese. I had to learn, Cambodian, Vietnamese, Korean, Filipino. So I'm the go-to guy, you know what I mean?
Gotcha, I hear you. Again, you've had so many roles. What is one that you've held closest to your heart?
They're my children. They're all my children. They come from me. How can you reject any of them?
That is true. It's not really rejection. I was about to say picking your favorite child, but that's also hard as well.
Well, that's not for me to say. It's for what you to say, the audience, the fan. You tell me what is your favorite. Because they're all part of me. Okay?
I get that. That makes sense. And then for the last question that we have, are there any words of encouragement to anybody looking into getting into this industry or following your footsteps?
Don't. Don't unless you cannot not do it.
Kind of almost like a Yoda almost. Kind of the do or do not, there's no try almost.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I get it. Okay, I get it. Well, Keone, thank you so much for your time.